It's a really wonderful program that works on and focuses on what makes a good reader. What skills do we use every day that we don't even notice that we use are somehow missing in some children. They just didn't pick it up. Maybe they are struggling in other areas. They don't have the home support sometimes around those strategies. And so we work with those students to build up their reading skills so that they can maintain or reach grade level reading. We know that children who are not at grade level reading by grade 3 have 4 times less likely to, or are 4 times less likely to graduate. So that is a very strategic age for us to be working with and build those skills so that they can not struggle going forward in things like homework and in the classroom. We do it through play, we do it through activities, we do songs and nursery rhymes, stories. 1 2 Buckle My Shoe is our first numeracy program. It's also language based, so they work on French and Cree as well. And it's an amazing program that focuses on numbers and real early math skills. Literacy is not just reading and writing, it's understanding your environment, participating. And Payday Playday is financial literacy based. And so those activities are based around a lot more financially based things, like teaching your kids how to save, give, spend, what things that what are important to you, what are your priorities at home, differences between needs and wants, things like that. So the philosophy behind our family literacy program is that the parents are learning along with the children all the time. So, and they're learning from each other. If you just focus on one or the other, it's hard to build up the whole family. And it can be personal. I want to read to my grandkids before bed. I want to help my kids with their homework. I want to be able to send a text message to my grandkids to keep in touch because we're not in the same city anymore. So those are the kind of people that come and ask for help. When we talk at READ Saskatoon about there's a difference between people who are illiterate and those who have low literacy. So we don't talk in terms of people who are illiterate in our province and in Canada, because that population is very low, like 2 or 3%. There's not very many people who have no skills and are completely illiterate. Most of the people have low literacy. So that's 1/3 of Saskatchewan residents have low literacy skills. And that statistic comes from those who have identified that they struggle in their daily life. There's a lot of reasons why somebody would struggle with low literacy. When you think about mental health issues, addictions, trauma that could have to do with residential schools, racism, teen pregnancy, there's a lot of reasons why they're all wrapped up. Like poverty plays an important role in that whole discussion, and there's many times a lot of barriers that reinforce one another in the community, and many people have a few of those things. Learning disabilities that weren't caught early enough or at all. Things that we take for granted every day. Reading or writing a letter, an email, a text message, having the digital literacy to be able to do those things on a computer, looking at a prescription, reading a bill. All of those things are things that you would struggle with on a daily basis. And in our agency orientations, when we take in volunteers or people who are interested in learning about READ Saskatoon, we talk about the skills that it takes to do those, to apply for a job. The digital literacy now that you need to be able to go online and do those things, and then have a resume that you can upload or send or email and write the email to send it. Like, there's so many skills there that we don't realize that we use all the time to be able to do what we would say are simple things. And when you have to go to your neighbor to ask them to read your doctor's note, or even if it's a family member, the privacy issues and the confidentiality that you lose around those kind of issues are really important. And it opens you up to fraud issues, and which is, like, since COVID hit, is just like rampant, and it has skyrocketed. So when you think about getting those CRA scams on your phone, if you don't know the system, or you're new to Canada, or you're not sure if you've done something right or something wrong, that is really scary to receive one of those. And so helping people navigate the systems, right? It's not that education isn't important in that home, or that they're not thinking about it, or that they're not trying. They just don't have the skills, or they never had the opportunity to learn those skills. And it can be a generational issue. One of our core beliefs here at READ Saskatoon is that you can learn at any age, and it is never too late to reach your goals. It's not just about newcomers, coming here with low literacy or need to work on English as an additional language. It's also those Canadian-born who are struggling. And I think that's why our family literacy philosophy behind educating the whole family and including the whole family in those learning opportunities is so important. Like, our coordinators are probably on a first name basis at Dollar Tree and Dollarama. Like, that's where we shop, right? We're not ordering stuff online that's, these high-tech gadgets that we have in our programming room. It's stuff that you just get at the dollar store that you would have at home. And what can we make with it? What can we learn from this? What can we count it? Can we sort it? And it can be like little palms, that they have, and they're picking them up with tongs and you're learning those fine motor skills, and you can do those things at home. You can teach the parents. We believe that the parent is their child's first teacher, and there is a place for that in their home, and that if they can take the skills that they learn here and the songs and the rhymes and take that all home and do that, that's a huge win for us. We do encourage them to join us, but they need to make that first step in asking for help. And we acknowledge how scary and how emotionally taxing it could be on someone. A lot of literacy issues are wrapped in shame and have been for many years. And we acknowledge the effort that it takes to encourage, it takes to knock on our door or pick up the phone and say, I need help. And you're presenting information, but when they start to have ideas and someone else over here is like, oh, well, I know all about that. Or, I have a family of 5 and we're struggling with this. Oh, we did this and it worked for us. That's what READ Saskatoon is all about. We want to bring people together to learn in a culturally sensitive space that is respectful of everyone. And yes, we are presenting information, but it's their job to take it and really grab it and, okay, what are we going to do with this now? And when the room is learning from each other, learners, volunteers, staff, all together, that's what we really find satisfying. Our learners, they're business owners. They are parents, they are grandparents, they are employees. A lot of our adult learners and just learners across all of our programs, they're employed, and they have families. And for them to find the time to also want to improve themselves and work on their skills is incredible. And then do the 3 hours of homework on top of working full time and having your family and volunteering. So financial literacy is the equipping somebody with the skills and knowledge so they can make more informed decisions for themselves and their family. And we do that through our financial literacy workshop series. So we have a 6-part series that we do with participants. They're focused on asset mapping. So again, going back to the sustainable livelihood model of different areas of assets in your life. And they're not just financial. You need social assets and personal assets and different areas so that you can create a successful outlook for yourself. We do workshops on banking and budgeting, credit and debt repayment, spending skills, and RESPs. And so with RESPs, we invite people in and work with them and work with families on opening an RESP in a financial institution of their choice. So we are never promoting one institution over the other. every time we bring in a volunteer, they do need to be from a financial institution because the banking industry changes so much. And one of our outcomes of the program is to bridge people back to a financial institution, get them out of the money mart and put them back into a financial institution of their choice so that they can make better decisions and get the knowledge they need from somebody who is certified in a financial institution. So we have a match savings program where it's a 6-month-long program, and there's families that are involved, and they do the whole 6-part financial literacy workshops, and they also go through the documentation you need to get to set up an RESP. So parent and child need a SIN, and you need a bank. To get that, you need your birth certificate and things, and you just may not have that. You maybe never needed it before. So getting all of those ducks in a row so that you can go make an appointment at the bank, and we equip them with, these are the questions you should be asking. This is what you qualify for, because many low-income people qualify for grants, government grants. And you can get $2,000 in the course over the period of time just for opening your RESP. You get $500 just for opening an RESP, and then a series of funds after that. And there are rules around that, and you can talk to our financial literacy and they know exactly what that program is. But the point of the match savings program is these are all people who are lower income, and they show a habit of saving monthly they have a maximum that they can save. And then at the end, all of those receipts go into READ Saskatoon, and they're tallied up, and then their savings are matched 3-to-1. So it triples whatever they were able to put in there for their child or children. Many set up multiple accounts at the same time. So that program really can change the language in your household from if you're going to school to when you're going to school, because children are 5 times more likely to attend post-secondary school if they have an RESP in their name, and it doesn't matter how much is in there, just that they do. So that's our philosophy behind the match savings. Our financial literacy coordinators talk about the barriers that people have for financial literacy and understanding the information, and the largest thing that they would say is the banking jargon. And the terms that are used are not plain language, and they find them very confusing and intimidating, and they feel like it's not for them, and they are not quite sure where to go or who to ask the questions to. And so that's a real issue, the fact that the banking industry changes all the time. That's why our financial literacy volunteers need to belong to a financial institution, because the next year that program could be gone, or it could be something totally different than it was the year prior. So the rules and regulations are changing all the time, and we want to make sure that we are telling our clients the best information that's out there and the most recent and current. For instance, in our match savings program, they needed to fill out some documents, but they weren't compatible with her phone. So she couldn't send them in through her phone. She needed a tablet or a laptop. She's like, well, I don't have that. So we had to support her in handling all of those documentation. But it's things like that, right? Or your online banking. Some people just don't have access to online banking. And so when something happens to your account, you may not know that it's happening to your account. And all of the hoops that people have to jump through in the financial world. One of the outcomes of our financial literacy program is to get people out of money mart and making better financial choices for themselves, and bridging them back to that bank. So providing a little bit more trust, which is again why we have volunteers. They come in plain clothes, so they're not advertising where they're from. They are just here as a knowledge base. But providing somebody in the room that is trustworthy, that we say, this is a good person for you to talk to about this. And there was a golf tournament, and we were doing a financial literacy quiz at our hole, and about 50% of the golfers got this question wrong about if your credit score is increased when you pay off your money mart or loan. It isn't, because they would have to report that, and they don't. They only report it when you don't pay. So a lot of people think that when they're paying off their Easy Financial or their Money Mart, their loan, they think that that is increasing their credit score, and it isn't, because they are not reporting that on your behalf. But when you don't pay, they're definitely reporting that. I think the most satisfying part of our financial literacy program is seeing the changes in behavior. So it's like grocery shopping, right? Like, you do the same thing, you buy the same things all the time. Your finances are very similar. You spend money on the same things. You choose to do your banking the same way. And when you can start changing behaviors about what are you spending your money on? What are your spending habits? Do you need to be doing that? What are some things that you could cut out in your day-to-day life and where could you be putting that money, instead? And seeing those changes in behaviors and seeing people save for long-term purchases that they've never thought they could before is really rewarding.